ICE is doing a very important job to remove illegal alien criminals from our communities. And I think it's very striking that all weekend long, you had agitators and violent American citizens out in the streets of Minneapolis protesting. Protesting what exactly?
Welcome back to Posting Through It. I'm Jared.
And I'm Mike.
A quick shout out off the top to our newest platinum members of the Patreon. Someone with a screen name that just says A Toaster and Claire Connolly. So thanks for signing up for the Patreon. We're doing a bit of a premium feel. A premium feel on a main feed episode.
Premium,
yeah. Quick note about the Femdom shirts that we did last year. Those have been shipping out. I got mine. I'm doing laundry today, and once I'm done with that, I'll be wearing it loud and proud. We ended up selling 80 shirts and raising somewhere around $400, which for a shirt, that
you can't wear.
A shirt that's a little scary to wear in public. I consider that a win.
Yeah. Are we announcing where we're sending it to, or are we protecting that?
I'll give the exact name once we make the actual donation. We're going to get the proceeds from Raygun, the shirt company, towards the end of the month, and then pass those along. But it's a women's shelter in Arizona. I tried to find the one that was closest to the Turning Point USA headquarters. And it's a shelter for women who are experiencing homelessness or escaping domestic violence. It felt like it was on theme for the shirt, and it's a good cause.
Yeah, and it's right in the shadow of the Young Women's Leadership Summit. You received it in the mail and sent me the text that said, "We are Charlie Cuck."
Yeah,
and I immediately responded, "We carry the purse."
5 with pedicure.
Okay, we did it.
It's a music podcast.
It sure is. Okay, yeah. All right, we are Charlie Cuck. So the reason for this, duo broadcast is we really needed to drill down on some of the stuff that was happening in Minneapolis. It's cool to get a guest for something like that, but I feel like we both wanted to talk about it ourselves, simply because it's such a substantial moment and feels like a big change in the culture, and not, for me at least, definitely not in a good way. And I know a lot of people that we care about, friends, people who've been on the show, I've talked to them about it. And a lot of people are really angry and really scared, some of them, and understandably so.
Yeah, I'm angry. They tried to do this kind of shit in Chicago, and in Minneapolis they're getting a similar but very intense Midwestern hello. People in this part of the country don't fuck around with this shit.
Yeah, well, it's also important to note that something else happened in Minneapolis, which we'll start with. But shocker, people don't want you there after that. So they announced this thing. It was called Operation Metro Surge, which is just whatever.
Sounds like a Metro Boomin B track. like this was all the stuff that never made it out of the studio.
And I'm back on January 7th, and we talked a little bit about it then on the podcast, premium episode of the podcast. But Jonathan Ross, we've found out his name is since, is the ICE officer who shot Renee Good in the face. It was a really, really scary moment. After that, federal officials claimed the agent acted in self-defense. If you recall, alleged Good's vehicle posed a threat to Ross. It doesn't look like that to me. No matter what angle you show, it doesn't look like that to me. I don't know about you, Jared, but I've never seen an angle where it looks like She's threatening him. And I think there's also been analysis done by Bellingcat, New York Times, and a few other publications that show pretty clearly that she was turning to get out of the way of them. And she'd just been ordered to leave the area.
Yeah. From what I've seen on the video, the way I interpreted it was she's looking to her left out the window, talking to an agent who's like, you need to move your car. And she says, all right, that's fine. I'll move my car. I'll get out of here. And as she moves her car like 2 inches, she's starting the turn. Her wheel is moving to the right. She's tapping on the gas, still looking to the left, not expecting that there's going to be some ICE agent dipshit just standing in front of her car. And the second that vehicle makes like an inch of forward motion, this dude freaks out, leans across the hood, and point blank shoots her in the face.
Well, I need to correct you on one thing because we shouldn't make assumptions as we're both journalists here. We don't know that he freaked out. I mean, I think it's completely possible that the guy was just like, I'm just going to kill her, right? He was so irritated with the situation that was there. And it's just some, uppity woman who resembles the women in, the kind of MAGA memes about liberals and whatever else that dehumanize and do whatever else they do. It's very possible that the guy just looked at her and just says, I'm going to fucking blow her head off and be justified for it. So we don't actually know.
Yeah. Well, regardless, this sparked a ton of spontaneous gatherings across Minneapolis and elsewhere in the country. Something of note, just to give you a sense of how repulsed people were by this. And you wouldn't be able to tell if all you watch is Fox News, but public support, according to one poll, for abolishing ICE, which liberal pundits have told us in mainstream press for years is too radical and you're going to lose the country, was polling at 46%. 42% in that poll said we shouldn't abolish ICE, and the rest were undecided. So it's a plurality of people in this poll were like, we should get rid of this agency.
Right.
Which is crazy. It's like overnight sea change. You compared it on a prior episode to like a Heather Heyer, Charlottesville moment, referring to when James Fields, neo-Nazi, drove his car into a crowd, striking a lot of people and murdering Heather Heyer, and how that had such a shocking and reactive effect in this country. And I think, just looking from that early polling and sort of what reactions have been like across the country, I don't think that's far off, man. I think it's people are this, obliterated what little public support I think they had going. But despite this, the administration just continues to double and triple down, just going for broke here. I don't know.
Sure. I agree with that. The thing I was going to say is, if you remember those old memes, that meme format was like how it started, how it's going. It's like how it started, mass deportations now, and how it's going, abolish ICE, just in terms of polling. Yeah. It's really funny, because how Trump wrote in and how people feel now. Of course, we have always felt one way about this. So, yeah. ICE, we found out also that around the same time that ICE leaked the footage, that cell phone footage to Alpha News, who previously produced what people have described. I've never seen it, Jared. I don't know if you have, like a counter-historical take on George Floyd's murder, but it is a reactionary, like, junk outlet. And I think it just shows you how closely married this mission is and these people are to the kind of churning junk news content that we've been covering on this show.
Yeah, Alpha News, this is like equivalent to leaking to the Gateway Pundit or InfoWars.
Like, even smaller. This is like an obscure sideband.
Yeah. It's just finding this like aggregate Twitter account and being like, hey, do you guys want a snuff film? The only condition is you have to say it's good.
Yeah. It's something to use to bail us out, basically. And then JD
and I should point out, to get a sense of the politics of this place, the people that are behind Alpha News subsequently were sharing fundraisers on GiveSendGo and GoFundMe for Jonathan Ross, who was this ICE agent who killed Renee Good.
Some objective journalism.
Well, the thing about these legal fundraisers, they raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. But my question is, for what? He's not facing charges. I mean, maybe you could
People hate him.
Maybe you could say security, but he's an agent of the state. That should be handled, on that end. They'll take care of him. This is just a financial reward for killing somebody in cold blood.
Absolutely right.
And both of those fundraisers, I should note, were started by like straight up white supremacists. One of them in the text for the fundraiser campaign is faulting Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, and it's like parentheses, who is Jewish, by the way.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you showed me that. I shouldn't laugh.
Like, holy shit, man!
I shouldn't laugh though. I shouldn't laugh. Like I worry that I'm too black inside from covering this material, but it is true that the guy was just like, hey, the mayor's Jewish, by the way. It's like, it's just like an obvious Nazi, to use the colloquial term.
Yeah. So you wonder, like, who is this all for? Well, there's one target audience that has been quite excited by this.
Yeah. Well, JD Vance is among them. because he took the podium pretty soon after that event, and he kind of made, he sounded at times kind of unhinged. And I think people will remember this particular presser when we look back at the end of 2026, if we're all still standing, as a moment that did not reflect well on Vance and probably will in the future, harm some of his political ambitions. We will see.
Yeah. This is a guy who, presumably is thinking, can I take the mantle of this political movement, doubling down on something which, as we noted just a few minutes ago, is a complete fucking loser of a political position. And yeah, here's a little soundbite from a White House press conference.
She tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened. Next question.
The investigation is still ongoing.
I said next question.
Angry.
Yeah, he sounds really measured here. And he sounds like I'm so convinced that he really believes that too. Jacob Frey, at that time, the mayor of Minneapolis, gave a little speech of his own, and he said something that upset some of the people in MAGA. This is important because of what happens later on in this story.
To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. Somebody is dead. That's on you. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying. To the family, I'm so deeply sorry. We're going to be working towards justice as quickly as we possibly can right now. And justice is what we've all got to get. We're going to make sure that in this very difficult moment, we do not take the bait that these ICE agents are trying to create, and that the federal government, to be clear, wants.
So pretty strong words. And again, this is all happening in the context as like more videos, more angles of this incident are coming out. One image from the scene of, this ICE officer killing Renee Good showed the glove compartment in her box filled with stuffed animals and toys. And then on the other side of the frame is a steering wheel covered in blood.
And I think that image really speaks to a lot of people, not only because a few people sent it to me when it became available, just sort of like, did you see this? And these are not people who are engaged at the level that we are necessarily in these stories. People were really upset by it because the image is so striking. And then at the same time, you have JD Vance and the whole MAGA crew calling her a domestic terrorist, which, those two images do not line up. Okay, so multiple law enforcement agencies begin looking into the incident, but the reality is that the FBI takes over.
Oh man, it's going to be an Uber Eats kind of night for Kash Patel.
Man, we got to do some dumb shit here. Some stuff happened in Minneapolis, man. So I guess, I mean, we know nothing's going to happen for two reasons. One, they assign Kash Patel almost assuredly to quash investigations exactly like this. And also because we've covered on the show on a couple premium episodes that Kash Patel does not work.
Yeah, they handed this off to him, I'm sure, with the intention that like, okay, cool. So this isn't going to get done. And if it does get done, it's just going to be like, the end result of this investigation is going to be like 2 Twitter posts. It's just like, yeah, listen, man. I was thinking about this when I was playing FIFA 26 on my PS5. The government, that's a business expense, by the way. Check my expense reports. My conclusion was that we gotta get one of those Starlink things in the FBI plane, because it really just sucks having to download everything before you take off, and then you like can't even like see how your posts are doing when you're in the air, and that's just like 3 hours from here to Nashville, and it's just, it sucks, man. And so wait, Minneapolis, that's in Michigan, right?
One thing, if you want to illustrate how obscene this is, I would like you to visualize, just close your eyes and imagine Kash Patel with his USA socks, with his pants that are like too short, closing the laptop, that whatever he was, looking at, Bang Bros or whatever it is, and like like clicking out of his DraftKings app and like waddling up to President Trump and saying, actually, Mr. Trump, I think, the officer committed crime here. Like, just if you want to know how absurd it is, you know why it's absurd? Because he would never do it.
No.
You could just,
never.
it. This is the whole farce of this country. Anyway, Will Stancil is in the mix. There's a lot of people now. A lot of people are protesting in Minneapolis. A lot of people are doing different things. Some people are tracking ICE officers, which is like really heroic and scary, right? These people have already demonstrated that they will kill you. But Will Stancil is driving around in a Honda Fit and I guess documenting where ICE officers go. We got to tip our cap to him. That's the Will Stancil we know from when we had him on the show. Yeah.
A few people griped at us when we had him on, but I feel pretty vindicated.
And I remember redemption arc is coming.
I remember when he called into our New Year's episode, he was talking about like, oh yeah, I'm just like going to some ICE trainings and stuff. I mean, this dude was like planning on doing exactly this, and by God, he's doing it, man.
Yeah, he's, the white supremacists may get their wish after all, which is Mayor Will Stancil. They may meme him into the presidency by accident, and then be like, "Oh no, now he's coming to arrest us all." On January 9th, a friend of the show, who we have not done a who the hell is yet, but goddamn, like he's really pushing the hand. We're gonna Andy No published a smear of Renee Good, Jared, and I'd just like to read it to you. I found the Venmo of the woman shot dead in Minneapolis by ICE after accelerating into an agent. Renee Good's mother was paying her bills. Her image features a BLM logo, and in 2020, she paid someone for, quote, terrorism.
I'm sure Andy.
So Andy got like 40,000 likes for this on X, but people dunking on him got significantly more for reasons that are obvious to anyone who has friends, Jared.
Yeah.
If you've ever used Venmo before, people will be like, "Oh, here's whatever money for crystal meth."
Yeah.
And I'm actually surprised that you haven't Venmo'd me our Patreon money, like with the tag terrorism yet. But maybe that's something we can aspire towards. But then we can always wonder if I ever get murdered. Then we know that Andy No will try to use that as an example of my terrorism.
Anti-fascist brain supplements.
The other thing is Renee Good's mother. Now listen to this. This is supposed to be damning. Renee Good's mother was helping her pay her bills. I'm sorry. who do you think is living in this country? How do you think people are getting by? It's by we're getting by the skin of our fucking teeth here, right? I mean, she was getting money and she paid it back, and he censored that out of the post. I mean, he is truly he has a dark heart. Like, there's something extremely cold about Andy Ngo to look at that and be like, yeah, this is news.
Well, the thing is, if she was rich, he would have done the same thing, right? But it's just like, look at her economic circumstances, as if that is relevant to the fact she was shot and killed, that her blood is all over the steering wheel while there's stuffed animals in the glove compartment.
Yeah.
Like, he's a monster, dude.
He's trying to justify a murder after the fact. I mean, that's my opinion. I know it's not, she's not going to, her death will not be considered a murder by the authorities, by Kash Patel or whoever else. But I mean, that's the reality of what he's doing. He's trying to be like, well, if you squint, she did use the word terrorism on Venmo, even if she didn't do terrorism. And also her mom gave her a few $100s. Like, that's like where he's going with this. Okay, so not a friend of the show yet, Naomi Wolf. How would you describe Naomi Wolf, Jared?
She's an author, right?
Yeah.
She's one of those people like J.K. Rowling, or like, I don't pick a random like billionaire's name out of a hat, where it's like they did something that was successful and they made a bunch of money, and then they spent way too much time online and absolutely cooked their brain.
Yeah, she was like third wave feminist, and was kind of a successful author, I guess. And then she just started to go down a rabbit hole on a lot of conspiracy theories, and as far as I know, and then there was a lot of like Maha type stuff and anti-vax stuff.
COVID just like turned her brain into glass and shattered.
She wrote something here that really needs to be remembered. I think we make sure to bookmark this for the top takes of 2026.
Oh, I got it. I got this one.
Okay. You want to read it?
Okay. I'll just say it.
That's the best way to begin something like this.
I'll just say it. I've seen enough videos of the faces of liberal white women in conflict with ICE to know what's up. Liberal men at this point, are disproportionately estrogenized, physically passive, submissive due to woke gender hectoring, or porn addicted.
Oh.
White liberal women are disproportionately sexually frustrated. Policing others, as in the pandemic, was an outlet for them, but it was not nearly enough.
No.
The smiles you see on their faces now say it all. White women long for all-out combat with ICE, who tend to be strong, physically confident, masculine men, because the conflict is a form of physical release for them. They long for actual kinetic battle, and it will get even uglier.
Wow. There's a lot saying there. There's a lot.
I mean, we've all seen the videos out of Minneapolis where liberal white women are yelling at ICE officers and then immediately falling to the ground in a life-changing orgasm.
But I mean, my Freudian read, not very difficult to do, is that she's horny for ICE agents, right? I mean, she's looking at it and she's imagining herself as a liberal white. She used to be, well, at least liberal coded. I don't know what was going on inside her mind. So she's looking at that and she'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to just go right up to this ICE agent and he's going to just throw me down to the ground. And oh my God. And she's just walks over like the WikiHow art and just walks over to the mirror and points at it and be like, they are horny for ICE agents. I think that's really funny. I also like the idea, this is really buried in there, you got to untangle it, that right-wing men don't like porn.
Yeah.
It's like liberal men are just like, oh shit, I can't stop beating off. It's like, and then these guys are like, thank you.
I would love to protest against ICE, but I'm too busy jacking off.
Yeah. No, thank you. I don't want to look at pictures of boobs. That's
my
hands.
My hands are full with my dick.
I just want to say, like, anybody who has like a right wing stock account, this stuff. I mean, the amount of porn that these guys retweet is, or just general eye candy pictures.
Yeah, just go into the replies of like any conventionally halfway attractive female conservative influencer and tell me those guys aren't like what did Scott Adams say? The testosterone coming out of my ears.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They're all on Elon Musk's X, where there, of course, is no porn. Anyway, so on January 10th, the next day, Anna Krajunkian of Red Scare, that's her name, Anna Krajunkian, she she was getting a little irritated with Naomi Wolf's prodigious engagement, and she decided to weigh in as well, saying, a lot of lib fems and allies are hornily spinning their wheels about how the ICE agent really, really wanted to murder that girl, which obviously says more about them than it does about the facts of the case. Okay. Hornily spinning their wheels. It's just very funny that these people who have really nothing to do but suck off MAGA, people on X, really, with a bunch of pandering posts.
It's like hornily spinning their wheels. Like it's like hornily cleaning my bathtub.
I can tell you this.
Hornily making a waffle in the toaster.
I'm not going to mansplain women to a woman, but I've known a few women in my day, and I'm going to tell you this right now. The women who are on the streets protesting what is happening right now in Minneapolis are not, in fact, horny for ICE. Really bizarre shit, but that shows you like where the influencer mind is at, as Trump's approval is dipping below the 30 line in some cases.
Well, after all of this, things have continued to go down in Minneapolis. On January 10th, a surveillance video from a restaurant showed a worker who's been described in the press as legally authorized to work being captured by federal agents who seemed to have been waiting outside for him. The next day, an ICE agent reportedly threatened a man who said he was just trying to get home. He accused the driver of following him and said to the driver, "Did you not learn from what just happened?" A reference to the ICE agent shooting and killing Renee Good.
That's nice. That's really classy. America's headed in a really classy direction. There's Elle Neubauer and Patty O'Keefe. Okay, these are two young women. Were monitoring ICE federal agents who smashed out Neubauer's car window, dragged her out and her friend, and held them for 8 hours in the Whipple Federal Building there. Not great. Not a great thing. Okay, on January 12th, Keith Ellison, who is the Attorney General, announced that the city would file a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security, seeking to end the ICE deployment. This is not going to work, but it's part of the escalation, so I make a mention of it.
The next day, January 13th, a crowd of more than 100 people met ICE agents who were raiding a home in Powderhorn Park. ICE detained 3 people, 2 of whom were there as observers. Reports from witnesses say they observed ICE agents pushing one of the observers' head into cement before detaining him. Another protester kicked out the taillight of an ICE vehicle, and ICE responded by fleeing the scene, firing pepper balls, tear gas, that sort of thing. Then there was another woman who was on her way to a doctor's appointment for a traumatic brain injury, or at least that's what the clinic was. She had her window smashed and was dragged from her car and carried away by agents. She says that she lost consciousness while she was being held and that she felt lucky just to be alive and to have gotten out of the situation.
So then on Jan 14th, I don't know if how many people have heard this, but Walz did this video address, and I gotta say, the vibes on it feel like the scene in the movie where shit is like really going down. It's like the tone of his voice is really upsetting, and I think as somebody who's not in Minneapolis right now, this was a helpful way of feeling what the vibes actually are like.
What's happening in Minnesota right now defies belief. News reports simply don't do justice to the level of chaos and disruption and trauma the federal government is raining down upon our communities. They're pulling over people indiscriminately, including U.S. citizens, and demanding to see their papers. And at grocery stores, at bus stops, even at our schools, they're breaking windows, dragging pregnant women down the street, just plain grabbing Minnesotans and shoving them into unmarked vans, kidnapping innocent people with no warning and no due process. Let's be very, very clear. This long ago stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement. Instead, it's a campaign of organized brutality against the people of Minnesota by our own federal government. This week, he went online to promise that, quote, the day of retribution and reckoning is coming. That's a direct threat against the people of this state, who dared to vote against him 3 times and who continue to stand up for freedom with courage and empathy and profound grace.
Aquila Elementary School had to change up its pickup procedures because ICE presence at the school. And one PTA member said that Aquila teaches its kids to be kind, to be tolerant, to be thoughtful, to keep their hands to themselves, and none of these attributes are being modeled for them in the world outside of their school. That kind of hits pretty hard. And I've also seen like a few schools also being closed just in general due to scares around this and civil unrest or concerns about that. I mean, that sucks. Because it's like we have to remember, even when we're in this sort of meme world, online bullshit world that we've been living in or under Trump, kids are not, the kids are just going to school. And I would say that as a father with young kids myself. I mean, it's really upsetting.
January 15th, a couple reported that ICE agents deployed tear gas and stun grenades around their car. They were trying to get somewhere and got stuck near a protest. The 6 children inside their car were hospitalized.
Christ. So we're getting closer to today when we're recording this, which is Sunday, January 18th. You'll be listening to it probably on Monday, the 19th. So President Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. This is a pretty big threat. It's something that he's been making for a while, right? He certainly made it in 2020, during the summer of 2020. And it feels like they're a lot closer to doing that. We can talk about that in a second. But your thoughts.
Trump has fantasized about using the Insurrection Act before. Right-wing media is certainly salivating for this. And what the Insurrection Act would do is basically authorize federal law enforcement to just override whatever the fuck, state police, local police, whatever, and just do what they're going to do anyway, probably with the military. When you see people calling for it, we need the Insurrection Act, when you see them threatening that they might use it, this is a threat of violence, is how I understand it. This is like, if you don't behave, we are going to crack some skulls,
Correct.
Not so subtle subtext of the Insurrection Act, which is something I should point out, when there was an actual fucking insurrection at the U.S. Capitol building, was not something Trump thought about. In fact, he pardoned all of those people.
I would agree with you about all those things. I would just add that it almost feels like the way they fantasize about the Insurrection Act has less to do with if you don't behave, they'll crack down on you, and more just they're looking for an excuse. They want to do this. They want to crack down. So they can imagine the crimes before they dole out the punishment. You know what I mean? They're they just want to do it in the same way that looked to me, quite frankly, like Jonathan Ross was just looking for an excuse to blow someone's head off. Right. They've just been primed on these, they've been primed on this propaganda, this pro-Trump propaganda that goes back to 2014, 2015.
Yeah, the whole 2024 Trump campaign was a campaign of retaliation.
Yeah.
You feel that these people have wronged us,
Yeah.
and we're going to get back at them. And to think that violence was not understood by a lot of people as part of that promise, I think would be incredibly naive.
Yeah. So
It's bloodlust, and it doesn't matter if it's popular or not. It's just what it is.
I agree, 100%. The DOJ announced or said, leaked to the press that they're investigating Jacob Frey and Tim Walz for obstructing law enforcement. That seems concerning, especially especially considering rumors that they may go to New York. Right, there's a lot of rumors that they may go to New York. I think there's something that was reported in Wired. I say that because obviously Mamdani cannot, in a straight face, collaborate with ICE. Right, it would not work. And also, I think in his heart, he's very sincere about this. So when he obstructs law enforcement by literally just protecting his city and his citizens from this kind of federal invasion, I'm sure they're dying to arrest him. I'm sure they're dying to have ICE take him away, even if Trump kind of fangirled him.
So on January 17th, Tim Walz mobilized the National Guard in his state. Also on January 17th, an event that caught some headlines was Jake Lang got mobbed by a crowd and chased off the street after he tried to stage an anti-Muslim demonstration where he was going to burn the Quran. He claims that he was violently attacked. There was an NBC story that for some inconceivable reason reported that he had claimed he was stabbed. And then Fox News is like, actually, he claims he was hit on the head with a flagpole. Actually, he claims this. He's a serial liar, complete bullshit.
He's basically a complete scumbag, this guy.
He's an asshole.
Yeah,
Jake Lang is a pardoned January 6th rider,
right,
who got attention around the time he was pardoned because he was one of the people who was accused of physically attacking police officers at the U.S. Capitol. Jacob Lang specifically was accused and convicted of attacking Capitol police officers with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Nice
He's
guy.
also a vicious anti-Semite who spoke on a live Twitter audio thing one time saying that he wanted to kill all black people. But he, of course, did not say black people. He said another word with a hard R at the end.
Yeah, of course he did. So Andy Ngo, who we've already brought up,
my best friend,
has referred to him as an anti-Islam activist.
And that's one way to put it.
He sees I'm sure he sees something in Lang that he likes because Ngo's entire thing was that he got his ass whooped by Antifa, and and he went into the White House and he was like, "They beat me, President Trump. They beat me, Mr. Trump."
And
Mr.
Trump looked down at the card and was like, "Andy, you're Andy Ngo, right?"
Yes,
I'm the one. I thought that was you. You're the Asian one here. Okay.
I was the one who was beaten, Mr. Trump, beaten badly. If you watch you think I'm being funny, go watch the video. He's just meekly saying, "I got beaten, Mr. Trump." Anyway, so he wants to make sure that this guy, this totally normal Lang fella, is being referred to as an anti-Islam activist, which is probably something Ngo finds sensible given the fact that when he started, again, his who the hell is overdue. He was basically doing anti-Islam stuff himself, right? I think that's the best way to describe how Ngo started. There's also
that's how he cut his teeth.
Yeah.
I do have to say, mainstream news hasn't been much better talking about Jake Lang. I've seen many headlines saying Jake Lang, a conservative influencer, which, again, is certainly one way to put it.
Yeah, it's one way to put it. And also, like, is he really an influencer? Is anybody I'm an influencer. I'm an influencer. Why not?
This
I'm
is
an influencer.
this is the kind of shit, man, that we were talking about last year, where I was like, this is why this podcast needs to come back, because like most of the country is getting Jake Lang, who days earlier had made headlines for throwing chocolate coins at Jewish people and making a hit like a Nazi salute in public.
Conservative influencer. Yeah, well, it's that, and also I really think that a lot of these publications now are so scared out of their minds about lawsuits. They're like I'm sympathetic to that, but it's like they're just complete babies. Like they can't even report the news. They just pee their pants the second they hit publish, even if it says conservative influencer. And you can tell it. You can just tell because not only has the tone moved more sympathetic to MAGA, but also the descriptions are, as you intimated, are not even that accurate anymore. It's just really you're not even telling a conservative person what he does. Anyway,
yeah, it's like a disservice to the audience. Like you're not lying, but you're like it's almost like dishonesty by omission.
So today I learned, Jared, and we had a brief discussion before we came on, and this is why we held recording this. So we often recorded like on Thursday, Friday, but we just want to get the latest. And sure enough, the Pentagon is readying 1,500 troops from the Army's 11th Airborne Division based at Joint Base, I'm reading this here, Elmendorf Richardson. Okay, I don't know.
I drove by it when I was in Alaska last year.
That's right. You went to Alaska.
The only bear I saw in Alaska was inside the chain link fence surrounding this military base. So for the rest of the trip, how people are, the joke is that birds aren't real, they're government, spy things. I was like, bears are not. What is that bear doing inside the military base? What do they know about the bears?
He's like Kuma from Tekken, if anybody knows that. But
it's Kosh Patel landing at the military base, getting off the plane, and then having like a classified skiff meeting with Winnie the Pooh.
I'm convinced this bear hates ice of all kinds. He also he likes to penetrate the ice to grab the fish underneath and get his delicious dinner. I don't even know if bears do that. I don't know. This is not a science podcast. Okay, so this particular unit, Jared, specializes in cold weather operations.
And I'm sure all the good old boys who joined ICE are up in Minneapolis right now, where it's like 1 degree outside, and are like, I'm cold.
Yeah.
And there's been videos of them like running after people and slipping and smashing their ass on the ice and stuff. I mean, it's gotta be miserable, man.
Pretty bad. And I just want to quickly say that the optics of this, flying a bunch of Army folks into Minneapolis because they have a specialty in cold weather operations, feels like, I don't know, Civil War, like that movie Civil War, one of those things. It doesn't feel good. Like, if you took me out of this zone and maybe you put me in, like, I don't know, the Clinton era or something like that, like in the mid-90s or something, and you told me this, I'd be like, oh no, America is dying. Anyway, it's a pretty grim little headline there. I should note there's some signs that ICE and feds now outnumber local police 8-1, 5-1 to 8-1 in that range. I just want to quickly say something about the economic issues around this, which is AI is taking people's jobs. The economy is not as strong as it's being presented by the federal government. I think we're probably already in some kind of recession. And you just have these chuds just walking around, and they're willing to do it because they can't find any other job. They probably lost their previous job or something like that. And these people have demands, their family demands, and it's the quickest thing to getting a paycheck. And it's extremely disconcerting to see so many of those people just piled into Minneapolis like this. It really does feel very much like they're provoking some kind of civil war.
They're looking for an excuse, because if they do and they can justify it, once you start talking military, once you start talking quote unquote national security, that is a blanket that you can use for all kinds of secrecy, all kinds of like crazy fucked up shit where constitutional rights don't really matter anymore because it's not a law enforcement question anymore. It's national security. And it's been like that for as long as this country has been around. If the matter goes to the Pentagon, everything is fair game and nobody gets held accountable for anything. But we should also note that there's some reports that the U.S. government, in trying to manufacture consent for all of this, has been spending $8 million with right-wing influencers to push pro-ICE propaganda.
Cringe. Something Israel does as well, we've learned. But I do find that pretty heartening in some sense that they have to do that, right? Because you do see a lot of posts on X that feel very authentic sometimes, and they get propped up to the top of Elon's algorithm. But in reality, they need to build that feeling of popularity and success. It's more than like manufacturing consent, like manufacturing support, manufacturing. I guess the word manufacturing popularity, which is like some of the most important things that with Trump. So
that would be a good quest if anybody knows a good FOIA lawyer, because you'd have to get a lawyer to force them to actually fill this FOIA request within the next 8 years, I think. But like, get the spreadsheet. I would love to see who's taking money to make propaganda.
Terrence Williams, the MAGA comedian, the black MAGA comedian. I don't know if you're familiar with him, Jared.
Oh, I had drinks with him one time after CPAC.
Oh my. Well, that's a story for another time. But he had a viral post. And it's important to know Terrence Williams is black, and he really panders to a white audience, MAGA audience. I think that's the best way to understand what he does. And he does this bit now where he shows ICE like hurting protesters, and he eats fried chicken while he watches it, and then posts a clip of that.
Yeah, he also had a bit a while ago, once they took Aunt Jemima off the pancake syrup or whatever, he launched his own pancake brand where instead of Aunt Jemima, it's him on it.
Yes, in case you need a black emissary for your breakfast.
It's so humiliating, man. I can't. And I remember, I mean, this was years ago, but I just remember being like, dude, isn't this, but it's like embarrassing, right? And it's just like, I don't know if he just didn't want to admit it to me or what, but he would not give it up. He would just be like, no, people are really nice to me. They think it's funny. It's whatever. And it's like,
yeah. He really stands out as a guy who's getting a little bit of ICE cash. Anyway, but that's just my theory. That's completely my theory. Terrence can correct me. Yeah. So I just want to quickly talk about this guy, Greg Bovino, because we have a cinematic universe on this show, and we've never really brought him up before because he's taken a kind of a star turn during this Minneapolis thing, and not in the best way. He kind of shows up with a crew of other guys who look a lot like him in the sense that he is known to be sort of diminutive and certainly Italian American. And he kind of wears a long coat that makes him look like if you did some kind of AI generated image and you just wrote American fascist general, Greg Bovino would come up, I think, with it would look about the same. And he reminds me personally of Coach Buzzcut from Beavis and Butthead, who is a very right-wing very fashy coded character from back in the day. Anyway, this lawyer, Rachel Cohen, filmed a little video of her looking at a group of ICE generals. I don't know what they are, including Bovino. And she kind of rags on him for being short directly to his face. No disrespect to short kings. We're not height bias.
Hey fam, I was in Minneapolis and look, we just stumbled upon Greg Bovino at a fucking Speedway for a pre-Hague photo shoot. So, good for him, I guess. For those following along at home, I have nothing against short men, but I do just have to report back there is about a 4-inch height difference. Do you want to get closer so they can see?
Oh no, a little higher than for you.
Still not the same. So Greg, you're standing right there in front of me, but to everyone following along at home, I hope you fucking eat shit. I hope this keeps you up at night for the rest of your life, and no one fucking wants you here. Oh, fantastic language. There's children in here in your fucking vehicle, asshole. Choke.
So that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff happening in Minneapolis. Jared, I'm just curious, what do you see when you look at this moment? You know, what's different now? Because we've already had a couple of things before this. We had like Washington, D.C., and that was pretty shocking. And then Chicago was kind of more shocking in some ways, I think, because the clashes seemed more significant there. We also had stuff in LA. I don't want to leave them out. But yeah, I'm just curious, like where we're at right now after this Minneapolis thing, if you see anything different.
I mean, I kind of have felt over the course of the last year that this administration is, you know, even more so than the first one, which anytime a halfway, quote unquote, huge air quotes there, serious person, you know, would join the Trump administration and be like, you know, I don't think we should do that. I don't think I really do want to go along with that. They'd throw him out. I mean, just look at what's happening to Jerome Powell, right? Who at the Federal Reserve was like, I'm not manipulating the interest rates the way Trump wants it. And now they're investigating me, blah, blah, blah. Fuck Powell for a million other reasons. He's not a hero, but he also should not be subjugated to that, right? But it's like even worse than the first Trump administration. Now, any like cool head in the room, there are no cool heads in the room. That was what Project 2025, that whole staffing apparatus that they built up, that was going to be like the exchange they would give Trump for him taking in their policy stuff, was like, we'll staff your administration with a bunch of people who, gun to their head, will not say no to you. And we're seeing that play out. It's like these fantasies that have animated the MAGA movement for so long that people like you and I have, you know, spent the last decade banging pots and pans trying to get people to take seriously, are now manifesting into the world in this very impossible to ignore, violent, horrifying way. And nobody has been made to face the music for this. Democrats can't seem to muster up anything material. You know, Cory Booker's going on TV and being like, you know, what we really need is to like train the ICE agents and make them wear body cameras. And
I saw that.
And it's like, why, Cory? So you can get another angle of their kills? Like, what the fuck is wrong? I don't think that's the problem here. I don't think that's what people are angry about, Cory. And I think it will just continue on like this until somebody does have to face the music. And I think candidates going into the midterms this year who promise to make these people face the music are going to sweep their elections, because I think that's what the appetite is. This shit is unpopular and getting less popular by the day. It's not cool to be MAGA anymore, right? How many right-wing influencers have said MAGA is dead? You know, it's embarrassing. It's humiliating. You have to debase yourself and do what Andy Ngo and all these people are doing, which is like manufacturing consent for the state murdering people, right? How pathetic is that? So it's very bleak, but until, you know, like I keep saying, until people are made to face the music, until people are going to jail for doing this and that sort of thing, I mean, it's just, until people face consequences, I don't know that we heal from this. It's going to feel like it keeps going forever. And I think that's part of why the Biden years still felt so defined by Trump, right? Because they tried to prosecute him on all this stuff and he never went to jail. He never, like, no material impact to his life except maybe some legal bills touched this guy, you know? So it felt like even when Democrats were in power, we were still living in Trump's world, you know? So it's like, I, I just keep going back to that until somebody actually has to face some real fucking consequences for this depravity. It's just, this is just what it's going to be like for a while.
Yeah. Well said. I guess that my concern is, you mentioned elections, that we're kind of headed to a direction that is far beyond that, and that makes me uncomfortable. We talked about it a lot last year. If they're willing to do this to Minneapolis, what would they be willing to do if they feel like they're going to lose elections in the midterms? That makes me concerned. I mentioned that it feels like civil war. That's their fantasy. That's not our fantasy.
Yeah.
You know, right? The impulse to send the army there is so sick, and it clearly just, you know, it is purely to flex on the people who live there. You have to have complete contempt, and you have to be totally blind to their humanity to want to consider to do this, or to consider anything that they've done since this Minneapolis thing has started, or really since the whole second Trump thing has started. But the fact that there will be no investigation, there's no like, no, that's not the right way for ICE. It's not the right way for ICE to shoot someone in the face. There's no point that they even try that anymore, right?
Yeah.
You could imagine the first Trump administration had this, you know, somehow something, I mean, everything's so different. But you would imagine that somebody would kind of step in and say, like, I mean, you know, Mike Pence, and be like, that's not the right way. That's not the way ICE is supposed to conduct itself. The reality is now they think it's exactly the way ICE is supposed to conduct itself. And they're going to shower him with money in reward for killing a liberal, perceived political enemy. I guess my big question, and this is not to answer a question with a question, is why do they want to live like this? That's what I want to understand.
Yeah, this is the world they fought so hard to bring into reality, which is we have federal agents just roaming around killing people.
And
we have gearing up the military to go into a town because the president doesn't like the politics of that town.
I mean, they really prefer this. I mean, living inside of Steve Bannon's jerk-off fantasy. This is where you want to live? I mean,
because they don't benefit from it either.
I disagree
Does this materially change your life at all?
Yeah.
No, it probably makes it worse, actually, whether you realize it or not.
It's just years of providing propaganda to one another over the internet, and it's more complicated than this, of course. But I mean, this is a big factor. It's just that it's just seen a million memes that dehumanize the political opposition so much that they no longer see any benefit in doing anything but destroying them any which way, and that includes with violence.
We should revisit Nick Shirley just so that we can end this on a slightly funny note.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's how we got here in many ways, right?
Yeah, you want to walk us through it again? Nick Shirley, we covered this on a premium episode, but my God, man, what a guy.
This is, speaking of being paid to produce propaganda, I'm very curious about that as well. He certainly rouses my suspicion. So if you recall, in December, the administration is reeling off of some of this Epstein stuff. They're feeling really, really upset by that. They're like, oh, we got to do something. And there's a myriad of other scandals, some of which we covered in December. Jared, do you remember the boat scandal when they were just kind of blowing up shipwrecked fishermen because reasons, you know, just because they wanted to kill people? It wasn't polling very well. Things were not going very well. And then all of a sudden they've got this guy, this YouTuber named Nick Shirley, who goes out to Minneapolis with an age gap content co-creator, I guess we would call him, is sort of a content co-creator daddy, who is an older grandpa-looking guy, and Nick is very young twink, and
we've got a classic twink bear situation.
Okay, yeah.
We think that guy's a bear?
I think he's a daddy. Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Or this is difficult. This is a difficult conversation to have.
People can be more than one thing, Mike.
People can be more than one thing. Someone's going to step in and be like, he's not a bear.
Yeah, we're going to have some loyal...
Silver daddy. I believe the term is silver daddy. How is that? How's am I knowing my audience? Anyway, so he kind of starts showing up, and then this older guy is apparently a lobbyist and connected to the Minneapolis GOP, and he's got all these like printed out sheets that show that there are daycare centers throughout Minneapolis that are run by Somalians that are getting money from the government that don't do any actual work. And that is the premise, that they're all running a fraud scheme. Unfortunately for them, though, some of the footage, which we covered on Premium, seems like just a place that is run by Somalis where the English is not entirely great and they're really scared and they answer questions for them. They keep
showing up being like, could my little Joey stay here? Where are the children? When do the children get here? Which, if you're running a daycare, is like such bad vibes, man. It's just some random people showing up with a camera in your face being like, show me the children. I would like to film the children. And it's like, and one, your English is not great. You're a first generation immigrant. And you're like, you don't maybe even fully understand what is being asked or what's going on exactly. But you just know that like this young man and this older and his silver daddy are, you wonder about them and how they know each other and like.
Yeah, and they show up and the first thing is like, I'm looking for a place to put my little Joey because this is a fictional child. And like all of these people who answer the door react as if somebody is, as if they're pedophiles, which is understandable. So a lot of people have been drawing attention to the fact that Nick Shirley does not seem particularly intelligent, Jared. Now that he's gotten this kind of limelight is showing on him and people are scrutinizing him a little more deeply, people are starting to say like, hey, maybe this guy is not the smartest guy in the whole world. And so here's a thing in which he goes to a medical plaza where there's a bunch of Somali doctors and businesses there, and he assumes it's fraud, partly because there's so many doctors' offices.
Yeah, he's just trying to like repeat the hit by going to random Somali heavy places and filming and being like, well, that looks kind of weird, doesn't it?
Same type of business providing the same service in the same building. Another, convenience, home, healthcare, aid, Inc., and child-friendly space. All these companies get money from the government. Why would you have the same company essentially inside of the same building, door to door? Right here, Queenly Home Healthcare. It just does not make sense. If you were trying to operate a business, you'd want to have less competition. But here, they have all of their competition right next door.
Oh, yeah. There's who's ever heard of like there being a dentist and an orthodontist in the same building or something? I mean, anyway.
Anybody has never heard of a medical plaza.
Yeah, never. It's just like he's never heard of it. And here he is talking to some Somalians who are working in a place that seems to sell fabrics and different things. It's just, I guess, an attempt to try to make them look scary. It's just sort of like I found some Somalians.
Out of this grocery store, it's actually not just like a normal grocery store. There's actually a bunch of other stores inside of the grocery store. So right here you have one store, right here you have another store, and then right here you have another store, then up here you have another store. In total, inside of this section of the grocery store, there are 6 separate stores.
Oh.
How's life here as a Somalian?
Life is good. I do phone bills, sending money to Africa. That's where I do. The business is good.
And how have you seen the rise of Somalians and the rise of Islam here inside of Minnesota?
As well, the rise is good and we have a place to pray, and life is good.
How long have you lived here in America for?
For 10 years now.
And when you came here, did the government bring you here, or did you come here by your own choice?
I came here by my own choice. I was one of the refugees from Uganda. I was brought by UN.
You were brought by the UN to come into the United States?
Yes. And life is good, you know. We try to enter into businesses. We intermingle. And, we do what is required.
Okay. He reminds me a lot of Dr. Brule, Jared. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Brule from Tim and Eric show. Yeah, Brule's Rules. If you could just play Dr. Brule quickly.
This tank store was filled to the brim with instruments. I could tell right away we're going to make some sweet music in this place. I met with the owner named Gringus. He told me all about all types of music.
There's basses and violins and cellos. There's trumpets and lots of horns and everything.
What is trumpet?
It's a musical instrument. It's a brass instrument.
You got a dang trumpet in this place? I can play it. I'm a real bugle boy.
There's a few of them up on the wall right there.
I want to get my lips on that trumpet. Go get it, boy.
Yeah. So he's Dr. Brule.
Yeah, he unintentional, unironic Dr. Brule. That's the way he interviews people.
And that's people who are, JD Vance are like basically being like, this man deserves a Pulitzer Prize for touring the Minneapolis area with his silver daddy and being like, wow, look at this daycare. Did you notice the skin color of the people running it?
Oh my God. I mean, he's so racist that it's like, I don't want to laugh too much because it's also, he's horrible. But also, I mean, and it's effective. It's like, it certainly influenced the way they went about this Minneapolis operation for sure. We don't know how much. Also, you know, like my tinfoil hat part of me wonders like, you know, is this guy a Fed or something? Like, does he have like, you know, just like, do they like, yeah, let's do some content for our channel that'll help us set up this ICE raid, whatever it is.
I don't even know if he's that smart, man. It seems like this older man just approached him and was like, hey, you've got a YouTube channel. We should make a video about this. And he was just like, oh, okay.
And the timing is so perfect that he just randomly decided, like, you know, that was right when the government just happened to be going to Minneapolis. I don't know, kind of interesting timing. Anyway, there's this former Navy SEAL going by Sean Ryan, who had him on January 8th, Jared. Ryan is another one of these like chuds who puts all caps, Nick Shirley exposes Minnesota's $9 billion daycare fraud in his video titles. He's actually doing millions of views right now, even though almost no one in our audience probably even knows who Sean Ryan is. Well, he kind of looks like a more punch-drunk Joe Rogan, which is saying something. Anyway, so he has him on, you know, to expose the fraud, but I think Nick Shirley exposed something else.
They came after me. They came after my family. They doxed my entire family.
How did they come after you? Be specific.
Well, they tried to come after me. They tried to debunk all my whole entire story. They then
who's they?
All the news.
Just get more specific. CNN. Who within CNN?
PBS.
Who's the reporter?
I don't even know her name because she's irrelevant. Nobody knows who she is.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
how did they come after you? She just
ran down the road right now, and she was Simpsons colored and was like had like, you know, kind of hoops. Anyway.
Yeah, they're coming after me by explaining that my story is maybe not the journalistic, you know, searchlight feature that right-wing media is treating it.
Anyway, so that went pretty viral, but the one that really went viral, Jared, is when Nick Shirley appears not to know the word benevolent, and it's not even that he doesn't know the word, but also he sounds just like, I don't know, like bone dumb, like core, profoundly dumb in it.
Who do you think are the three most benevolent billionaires?
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Just well-intentioned, positive billionaires who you think are creating, you know, net positive societal progress.
Trump, our president. I think he's
Idiot. He's an idiot, man.
Yeah, these. I think that's the most frustrating thing about this particular time, Jared. Is just the people who are ruining our lives, ruining this country. You know, you don't even respect them like as you would respect like a cobra snake or something like that.
Like we talked about in the Scott Adams episode, Jack Posobiec and all these guys will be like, Nick Shirley is terrifying the demons. And the demons are us in Jack Posobiec's mind. It's like me, but especially you. We're also especially you. But yeah, it's like these people are doing these like heinous, evil things, but it's almost even like they want to be scary, but it's almost difficult to be scared of them because they're so stupid.
Yeah.
But people, you know, conservatives will flip around and be like, oh, well, are they idiots or are they evil mastermind, whatever? And it's like, well, they're kind of both. I don't know.
Yeah.
People can be more than one thing.
It's true.
Like silver daddies and bears.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Everybody keep their head up, especially if you're in Minneapolis. Solidarity to you. This is really, really difficult. And if they may try to do it in New York, they may try to do it somewhere else after this. And this escalating conflict that we're seeing across the country is something that they want. They want this. And the fact that they want it says to me a lot about how little they care about democracy anymore, because it is not electorally viable operation. It is something that you could only do if you're an authoritarian regime.
Well, that's going to do us for this week. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see people on the premium feed on Thursday. Mike, are you going to do the black metal segment on Thursday?
Finally.
You've sent me videos of you blasting black metal in your home office. And
that's right.
I think your exact words were like, this is what I go through for the listeners. Like,
yes,
I'm subjecting myself to this.
Yeah, I like this thing is I actually do like black metal, but it is a very pretentious and jarring genre of music. And so I recognize it's not for everybody, but yeah, I'm going to do that with a recommendation on Thursday.
All right. We'll see you then.
Bye.